Okay, let's talk about something we've all felt. You try to send money to a friend, maybe overseas, and bam, you're hit with crazy fees and you have to wait for days. It feels broken, right? Well, what if you could send digital dollars instantly with zero fees? That is the big, bold promise of Plasma, a brand new blockchain built to be a kind of superhighway for stablecoins. We're going to dive deep into how it works, what the XPL token is all about, and what this could all mean for the future of money.
So, to really get why plasma even exists, you have to understand the core problem. Right now, sending stablecoins like USDT is kind of like trying to drive cross country on local roads. You're hitting every single red light. You're stuck in traffic jams on blockchains that just weren't designed for this. And you're paying unexpected tolls, gas fees, at every turn. It's slow, it's expensive, and honestly, it's just a huge pain. The current system just can't handle the load. So, that's the big question, isn't it? How do we get out of this mess? How do you build something that's fast, cheap, and totally reliable for something as important as moving money around? This is the multi-billion-dollar problem that Plasma is trying to solve.
All right, before we get to the solution, let's just sit with the problem for a second longer. Because this isn't some small niche issue. This is a massive traffic jam that's holding back a truly global digital economy.
And look, don't just take my word for it. The former chairman of the CFTC, Chris Carlo, said it best. We're talking about a market that could be worth trillions of dollars. This is huge. Stablecoins could completely change how money moves across the planet. But to make that happen, you need the right plumbing, the right infrastructure. And so far, that part's been missing.
And this is where Plasma makes its grand entrance. Think of it this way. If the old blockchains are congested city streets, Plasma is a brand new, perfectly paved 6-lane superhighway. There's no traffic, there are no tolls for the most common trips, and the speed limit is basically instant. It was built from the ground up for one thing, and one thing only, to be the express lane for stablecoins. So, how does it pull this off? Well, first, those zero-fee transfers. For simple sends, like you sending USDT to a friend, Plasma has a system that sponsors the gas cost. It's like having a prepaid toll pass. It's just free. Second, it's insanely fast. We're talking over 1,000 transactions per second with block times under 1 second. And maybe most important for developers, it's EVM compatible. Now, EVM is the Ethereum virtual machine, basically the engine that runs Ethereum. Being compatible means developers can bring their existing code and tools right over to Plasma. It makes building on it super, super easy.
And this isn't some random project built in a garage. It has serious backing from industry heavyweights, including Tether, the issuer of the biggest stablecoin in the world. Their CEO, Paolo Arduino, said that this kind of secure, scalable infrastructure, these essential rails, are more important than ever. And he's right. They're trying to build the foundational layer for a new financial system. But wait a second. You might be thinking, if sending USDT is free, how does the network pay for itself? How is it secure? That's where the native token, XPL, comes into play. If Plasma is the superhighway, think of XPL as the high-octane fuel that powers the whole system, keeps it secure, and keeps the whole thing running. So XPL basically has 3 main jobs. First, it's what you use to pay for gas on more complex stuff, like interacting with a smart contract or using a decentralized app. Second, it's what secures the network. Validators, the computers that run the blockchain, have to stake or lock up a whole bunch of XPL to participate. It's like a security deposit. And third, it's how you can earn rewards. You can delegate your XPL to a validator you trust, and in return, you get a cut of their earnings. It's the lifeblood of the whole ecosystem.
Okay, so we know what XPL does. Now let's get into the really interesting part, how it's designed. We're going to pop the hood and look at the tokenomics, the economic engine that makes the whole thing go. And for anyone who's not familiar, tokenomics is just a fancy word for the economic rules of a crypto project. It's the blueprint that decides how many tokens are created, who gets them, and how the supply is managed over time. Getting this right is absolutely critical for any project's long-term success. So when Plasma launched, there was a total supply of 10 billion XPL tokens. So how did they slice up that pie? Well, the biggest piece, 40%, is set aside for the ecosystem and growth. That's money to encourage developers to build cool stuff on Plasma. The team and the early investors each get 25%, and then 10% was for the public sale. It's a pretty standard distribution. But here's where it gets really important. The team and investors don't just get all their tokens on day one. Far from it.
They have what's called a one-year cliff, meaning they get nothing for the first full year. After that, their tokens unlock slowly, piece by piece, over the next 2 years. This is designed to make sure everyone is in it for the long haul, not just for a quick flip. And this next part, this is a masterstroke. While those insider tokens are locked, they are not eligible to earn staking rewards. Think about that. It means the team and investors can't just sit back and earn passive income. Their only path to success is to build a network that people actually use. It aligns everyone's incentives perfectly. The economy of XPL is designed like a constant balancing act. On one side, you have inflation. New XPL is minted to pay validators for securing the network. But on the other side, you have deflation. A portion of all transaction fees is burnt, meaning it's permanently removed from circulation. As the network gets busier, more fees are burned, which counteracts the new supply being created. The goal is to create a long-term, sustainable economic model. So, the idea is solid, the tokenomics are smart, but how did it actually perform at launch? Let's take a look at how Plasma exploded onto the scene when it entered the arena. The launch was, to put it mildly, a massive success. It went live with $2 billion in stablecoin liquidity from day one. That is just an incredible signal of pent-up demand. The market was clearly screaming for a solution like this. And the momentum just kept building. Within the first week, the total value locked, or TVL, on the network shot past $5.5 billion. In the blink of an eye, Plasma became one of the biggest players in decentralized finance. But as is often the case in crypto, that explosive launch came with some wild volatility. All that hype sent the price of XPL soaring to an all-time high of $1.68. But after the initial frenzy, the price settled down, correcting to around 89 cents. It's a pretty classic story of the market finding its balance after a crazy, hype-fueled start. But even after that price correction, Plasma's valuation was nothing to sneeze at. Looking at its fully diluted valuation, which is a measure of its long-term potential, it was sitting at $9.4 billion. That put it right up there with the longtime king of stablecoin transactions, Tron, which had a valuation of over $32 billion. XBR came out of the gate as a serious challenger. And this really sets up a fascinating strategic battle. You've got Tron, the incumbent. It's a huge, general-purpose network that's been around forever, but it's not specialized, and the user experience for payments can be clunky. Then you have Plasma, the challenger. It's not trying to be everything to everyone. It's a purpose-built superhighway designed to do one thing: stablecoin payments better than anyone else. So that leaves us with a big, open question. Is building a specialized superhighway, a massively better user experience for one specific thing, enough to pull all that traffic away from the massive, sprawling city that's already been around for years? Can Plasma's superior design win against Tron's head start? It's a classic battle, and it's going to be fascinating to watch how it plays out.